I'm Cathy O'Shia with New Age Industrial. Today I am with Dan Porter, our General Manager, and we wanted to talk a little bit about pricing and price increases. I thought it would be a good idea for us to give our customers, our reps, and our end users some information about why prices change, what causes large-scale price changes, and how global events affect that. So Dan's just going to give us a lot of information just to answer a few questions. First of all, Dan, we just recently had a price increase. Why do we change our prices?
Well, we have to change our prices because of input costs. To offer high quality equipment and great customer service, we have to have increases or sometimes possibly decreases based on what our input costs are for us to be competitive in our aluminum industry.
Well, you talk about, input cost. Okay, so what factors contribute to those input costs? Let's talk about material costs first.
Well, predominantly we're an aluminum manufacturer, so aluminum is a majority of the cost as far as the materials go. What we've seen over the last year and a half since the pandemic was that we've had some massive increases in aluminum. We also have seen increases across the board on virtually everything. Stainless steel, casters, hardware, just all across the board.
Even like nuts and bolts, it seems like you told me screws and fasteners and things like that just, quadrupled in price or what. I mean, and those are small things, but.
Our aluminum billet in approximately middle of 2020, our aluminum billet was costing 90 cents a pound. The last billet that we got in-house was $2.30 a pound.
And that's in 18 months, basically.
Our aluminum sheet in July of 2020, we were paying $1.58 a pound, and the last sheet that we got in here was $3.39 a pound.
So it's doubled in 2 years.
Yes, and stainless steel, right now, the stainless steel, we have a truckload or a couple truckloads scheduled to come in here at the end of or middle of July, and we really don't even know what the cost is. We have to have it for our production, but we really don't know what the final cost is going to be. Aluminum's cost is driven a lot by energy because aluminum is one of the most abundant elements, metal elements on Earth, but it takes a lot of energy to produce aluminum from the elements. So energy is probably the highest driving cost of aluminum. Now when you look at stainless steel, we do a little bit of stainless steel with our tops and stuff like that. Stainless steel right now, the price of the base metal for stainless is somewhere around $2, and then the surcharge for the nickel that goes into the stainless is somewhere around $2. So this next truckload is going to be somewhere around $4 a pound. And right there in August of 2020, we were buying it for $1.30 a pound.
So that's why when people say, and this is one of the questions I want to ask you, but why when I have like end users or customers that say, hey, well, I looked on the LME and I looked at this graph and it says that stainless steel is $2. Why are you saying it costs $4?
There's several indexes out there that give you what price commodities sell at, and aluminum is definitely a commodity. So if you look at the LME, it has an index that shows you what the raw aluminum will cost. Each time you take aluminum and change it to another form, so LME is basically what an ingot or a sow is, that's what it's trading around the world. Well, when you bring that ingot or sow into the US, you have, if it's being imported, now you have a freight value that's added to it. So then once you get it to the US, now you change it from that ingot, you change it to another form. So you change it to billet that can be either extruded or billet that can be rolled into sheet. Well, you're adding another set of energy right there, so there's another additional cost. So then when you take the billet and then you put that into our extrusion press, there's another added cost because you have to add energy again. So, and then sheet, and then, so of course when you're welding the product, now you're adding another round of energy. So each time it goes through transformation, you get another cost.
Which is that's a good explanation. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me, and I mean, I think everyone understands that. Do our pricing adjustments always apply to all the products across the board, or do we do them individually?
It kind of depends. Like what we've seen recently in aluminum, because 99% of our equipment is aluminum,
Right.
it's going to be across the board. However, there are times when you have increases in a subset of what you have, which, for example, stainless steel. Right now with stainless steel going up, stainless steel weighs 3 times as much as aluminum does, and it's still based per pound, price per pound. So if aluminum is $3 a pound and stainless is $4 a pound, it's 3 times heavier. So it's, a multiple of 12.
Right.
So if you see something like that, like the stainless has continued to go up because of world events, we're probably going to have to look, when we get this next load of stainless in, we're going to have to look at it and see, so we may have a segmented price increase just on the stainless steel or equipment that has stainless steel in it.
But like our last 2 price increases have been because aluminum overall went up and everything went up, and we had to take them across the board, right? Yeah.
Everything.
But like the next one, we may not have to take an increase, but we will probably have to take it on the stainless products. What does New Age do to help keep the cost down? A lot of times I get asked that question as well.
Well, there's 3 different methods that we use. One of the things that, we try to keep prices stable. So what we do is we have contracts with our material vendors, and so the contracts will go out for a year. So basically, they charge you, or you have an agreement on your conversion cost, and then so you know what it's going to cost above and beyond what the Midwest transaction is on aluminum.
Like that $2 a pound on the stainless, you know what your extra costs are going to be on top of that.
So we do contract, and we also do spot purchasing. Say, for some reason, somebody ordered a bunch of aluminum or something, and they end up not using it all or something, and they have a decent price on it. We'll buy that and put it into inventory so that we can hold pricing for as long as possible. And the other thing that we have done in the past is hedge material. When you hedge material, you go out and you lock material in the future. Now, the little bit of a problem with that is if, like right now, if you're at an all-time high in materials pricing, it's probably not a good idea to go out and hedge it and lock it in for the next year and a half, because we know high prices cure high prices. So when you get to this point, 6 months down the road, the price might drop 30 or 40%, and then you're stuck with all this high priced material, and your customers are saying, well, we need you to go somewhere else because your price is too high.
What do we do, though, as far as in our manufacturing?
We definitely try to use technology to increase our production. We've stayed with the same amount of employees for many years. We're probably around 150 to 175 employees, and we still try to produce and increase what we can actually produce with that amount of people out the door every year. And we've done it successfully.
One of the things that we always tell people is that, because people have questions about automation and does it eliminate jobs, we never do that. We create automation in order to save the employees and move them onto another job that's not so redundant and causes those injuries, right?
We can actually produce more out of the equipment by using technology to do things faster, better.
Right. We never get rid of people when we add technology. Where do you think the pricing's going? Get your crystal ball out. We laugh about this all the time because I tell him to get his crystal ball out and tell me what's going to happen now.
When you see an all-time high, which in the 33 years that I've been here, I've seen it a couple of different times, and when you get that all-time high, it doesn't normally take too long and it'll drop back down. I think in the next 18 to 24 months that you'll see a softening of materials price. Now, again, when you look at the increases that we've had in the last year and a half, we're probably, somewhere around 35% increase total in that amount of time. But some of the increases that I talked about earlier on the materials, 65% to 250% increase on the materials. So we're not passing all of that along. And the other thing is there's still other input costs, labor, which is never going to go down. General costs, your overhead, energy costs, they're not going down.
Well, is there anything else that you feel like people need to know so they better understand why we have to increase our price and what goes into, and we obviously put a lot of thought into it. We hold the pricing as long as we can. We do everything we can to keep our costs stable because a lot of our business is chains and repeat customers, so we try to keep it stable as long as we can. But is there anything else that they need to know that will help them understand why we have to do it?
There's times that we'll have 3 months, 6 months, maybe even up to 18 months worth of material, depending on the product, because that allows us to hold our pricing as long as we possibly can. And I think, when we had our first increase after the pandemic, we were probably 3 months to 6 months behind everybody else that had increases, but the reason for that was because we had the material in stock. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer if the price goes down, it takes a little bit longer for us to figure that back into the pricing because we do have quite a bit of material in stock and locked in.
But we do that to try to help our customers and stabilize the cost for them so they can manage to their future builds and their future projects.
Correct.
Okay, well thank you. We hope that helps you understand the pricing and how we do our pricing and what impacts the pricing a little bit more. And if you have any questions or you'd like more information, you can visit our website at newageindustrial.com or email us at sales@newageindustrial.com.